Welcome back to Africa Express. You have been watching Mayor Linda Balzotti, who is the first female mayor elected in Brockton. And before we took a break, she was telling us how she juggles her day and balances it like just everybody else. And we're going to be talking about other things that are happening in Brockton because there are quite a few things going on, a lot of new things. And she's going to be shedding some light about some of those issues. Madam Mayor, we have seen an eruption of gang violence in particular in the last few years. Although in the past couple of weeks, looking at the papers, there hasn't been that much, but in the last couple of years, it's been really on the rise. Mm-hmm. What measures have you put in place, or did the city put in place to curb some of these violent situations?
What happened, Blessing, was the first month that I was in office, we had 4 homicides in the city, 4 murders, all of young people. And after the first 2, I just decided that some drastic actions needed to be taken. So I met with the police chief, we met with state police, we met with some of the federal agencies that do work within the city. We put out extra patrols. The state police helped us, the federal agencies all helped us. They worked together. We developed a zero tolerance, and we had heavy patrols out on the street with a cooperative effort to kind of quell the violence. And then what happened was, as the course of all of these individuals started working together, all these agencies, they actually started to have surveillance and some undercover work. It went on for almost a year. And what resulted from that is that this past November, we had a very big raid, arrests of over 20 individuals involved in various elements of the drug trade. Unfortunately, drugs and the selling of drugs is related directly to the violence and the guns, because the young people are trying to protect what they consider their turf, their territory for drug sales, etc. So many of the individuals that were arrested in November will be tried in federal court. So if they're found guilty, they'll get substantial sentences, so they will not re-enter into the community, more than likely. And then also, as a result of that investigation for that larger raid, we had a few weeks later another raid. This raid was for smaller drug dealers, more that kind of deal the drugs right on the street that people are a little bit more familiar with. And we arrested another 20 individuals. So we've arrested approximately 40 to 45 individuals over the course of those 2 events that were involved in drug activities and related to violence. Also, I have a youth council made up of young people, and we went to them telling them, we wanted their help in resolving this or in working with us, because young people need to talk to young people about it just as much as older people need to talk to young people, and just as much as you need public safety to get them after the fact that they've gotten involved, you need some way to catch the young people before they get involved in the violent activity. Mm-hmm. So my youth commission is starting an anti-violence campaign, and they're developing a logo, and they're going to work with various individuals in the city, and the school department, and the police department, and the housing authorities, with area businesses, to promote this whole campaign of working to spread the theme of anti-violence, that the city is not going to tolerate this kind of behavior, that they want to bring it out to young people, get young people involved in helping to curb this and to show other young people the right path, how to make the right choices. And I think this kind of peer-to-peer relationship will help. We continue to offer as many programs as we can for young people to keep them involved and away from activities that will, or choices that are bad. We have Brockton After Dark. We've had it every summer for, I think, the last 7 or 8 years. We had 1,000 young people participate in Brockton After Dark this past summer. This past summer, the summer of 2010, we didn't, when we normally have a lot of problems, we didn't have one incident, one homicide, and we have been, things have been going, you know, knock on wood, for the last few months, relatively well, so we're happy with that, and we're going to continue the fight.
In terms of victims, is there anything in place to support people, especially the victims, or even the community, to encourage them to report some of these crimes? Because I know that I've talked to some people that basically like, oh, I'm scared to to say so-and-so did this, you know, and
it's very true.
And they keep quiet. Basically suffering in silence. Are there anything there that the city has done or put in place to protect those people that may be in a position to actually offer more information as to what is going on in the community?
Well, there's 2 avenues. First off, the District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Timothy Cruz, who has been very supportive of helping the city and providing programs and services to help us with this situation. He has a whole program for individuals who step forward if they need to be relocated, removed from the community, protected. He has a whole program in place to do that, to protect people's identities. There are also ways in which people can provide information anonymously to the Brockton Police Department. There's a tips line. We have anonymous texting through the schools for young people to be able to provide information without being identified that allows police and the school police to investigate matters. There's all, and that anonymous ability is also available through the Brockton Police Department. And then in addition, the District Attorney's Office provides that protection if somebody comes forward. So there are some services in place for that. There are also for, when you say a victim, if it's, you know, someone who's, if you step away from the violence, if you talk about domestic violence and those kinds of things, there are a number of agencies within the city that provide assistance to those kinds of victims, to victims of crimes, or victims of domestic violence, to get assistance. So we have a really great group of social service agencies that work in the city that work together to try to help victims.
We are going to take a short break and we'll come back and continue this discussion.